What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update. We're rolling out daily Manchester City transfer updates throughout all of the summer transfer window. Deadline day October 5th. From now until October 5th, daily Manchester City transfer updates. Things are starting to heat up. They're not going the way that we wanted, but I'll keep you up to date every step of the way. Make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then subscribe, press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. It is free. I am aiming for 13,000 subscribers. We're very close to 12,500 subscribers, so any help in gains towards that would be much appreciated. Social media links in the description below, and sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description below too. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos, or any general business inquiries, and I'm looking for sponsors for these transfer updates and also my watch along live stream. So if you've got any proposals, then feel free to email me. And don't forget also, leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this video, aiming for 500 likes. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. And also, most importantly, let me know your thoughts of these transfers in the comments below, as I'm always interested in what you do have to say. And so without further ado, let's crack on with this transfer update. We're going to start off with the outs. People have been asking for a Yan Couto update, and I've got one for you. Now, he is set to join Girona on a season-long loan. They're in the second division in Spain. That's according to, and bear with me here, L'Espiritu, what's how you say their name. I've never heard of them in my life. But they're a news outlet in Catalonia. Find that interesting. I'd have thought that City would probably be looking for some top-class football for him to play. With Girona being in the CFG, the advantage is that they get picks of some of Manchester City's top upcoming prospects, which would include Yan Couto, who I'm sure would help Girona, who very, very nearly managed to gain promotion back to La Liga last season. They lost in the playoff final to, I think it was Elche. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts of that in the comments below. Now we've got a Nicolas Otamendi update, and this is really, really interesting. Now this is coming from Correio de Manha, who's a source in Portugal, who again, I've never heard of them, but they're saying that Nicolas Otamendi, his choice, he wants to join FC Porto regardless of the information and interest that has come in from Inter Milan. Ottmendi, to join FC Porto, wants to be freed from his contract. Now, I doubt that's going to happen, and I say that because Inter Milan are willing to pay 5 million euros to secure Otamendi's signature from Manchester City, and also Inter Milan are willing to pay Ottmendi €1 million extra per year in wages as well. City, due to sentiment, aren't going to say we're going to miss out on 5 million euros. 5 million euros is 5 million euros. So FC Porto are going to need to pay 5 million euros because that's what Inter Milan are prepared to pay. Now, it could be a case where they cannot afford that, and Ottmendi would have to come to an agreement with Manchester City to end his contract. And like I said, if there was no other interest, City maybe would agree to do that. But considering Inter are prepared to pay 5 million euros, I would hope that City would sit down with Ottmendi and say, look, they're offered 5 million euros and we're going to accept that bid. So if you want to go to FC Porto, they're going to need to either pay 5 million euros for your signature, or you're going to have to find 5 million euros to release yourself from that contract. Because I know how City are in the transfer market. I can see us releasing him for free because he wants to go to FC Porto because of the dedication that he's done to Manchester City. But we're a business, and you don't turn down a club that's willing to offer 5 million euros because somebody else wants him for free. I'll be very upset if that does happen. We'll see how City handle the situation. Yeah, there we go. That's your update on Nicolas Otamendi. Now, very interesting one, this one, with Tosin and Adarabioyo. Now, West Ham Football are reporting from sources close to the player, so close to Adarabioyo, saying that West Ham have been offered Adarabioyo on a permanent basis for £8 million, which seems a little low. Now, I say it's a little low simply because other Championship players, so Adarabioyo spent last season on loan in the Championship and did very well with Blackburn Rovers. Other Championship players have been going for astronomical prices. Now, Ben Rama, I think that's how you say his name, at Brentford, he's closing in on a £10 million move, I think, to Crystal Palace. Ollie Watkins has just signed from Brentford to go and sign for Aston Villa for £33 million. So £8 million seems a little bit low considering Adarabioyo plays for Manchester City as well. I would have thought that City surely would have been looking for perhaps nearly double that. 15, 16 million pound would be a lot more of an accurate representation of Adarabioyo, and he's a homegrown player as well, which tends to come with a little bit of a homegrown premium. So we'll wait and see. Apparently West Ham are more keen on loaning Adarabioyo rather than signing him on a permanent basis. If that is the case, they may be given a option to buy Adarabioyo to see how he gets along. I'd have thought that would probably be a little bit more than the £8 million, but we'll have to wait and see. Apparently David Moyes, who's in charge at West Ham, has not decided if he's interested in signing Adarabioyo at this moment in time. Now, we've got an update on Sergio Reguilon. I hope I say his name as well. I'm terrible with Spanish pronunciations, I'm sorry. But he was linked with Manchester City. There was nothing more concrete than that. He was then being heavily linked with Manchester United, and they thought that they were closing in on the 23-year-old left-back from Real Madrid, who spent last season out on loan at Sevilla. But it's now thought that Tottenham Hotspur will be signing him instead, which is a surprise. So I did a little bit more digging into the deal and how Spurs have managed to, well, nab him, basically. And what's happened with the deal is that Manchester United, and it would be the same case for Manchester City as well if we was interested in signing him, because City apparently have been looking at some left-back, but nothing more than interest at this moment in time. Real Madrid want a buyback clause included on the deal. Man United will not include a buyback option back to Real Madrid, and if Manchester City wanted to sign him as well, Man City would also not include a buyback clause for him to go back to Real Madrid. That isn't how we do our business. So Spurs have stepped in and said, we'll pay the money that you wanted, and apparently no fee has been mentioned, but apparently it is meant to be a really good fee. So I'm waiting for figures to come out with what that fee is. But apparently they're going to include a buyback clause for him to go back to Real Madrid should he want to go back or Real Madrid want to re-sign him. And so it's seemingly looking like Manchester City will not be signing him. That's another left-back that we can take off our list. Ben Chilwell has also left Leicester. He's gone to Chelsea. So some left-backs that City have had a good look at and been interested in, because we're either not interested or we're being too slow at this moment in time that we're missing out on a couple of targets. That is how it is in the transfer market. Now, our last story, Kalidou Koulibaly. Now, Transfer Podcast, who aren't the most reliable sources, were saying yesterday that Man City and Napoli, they're still working together to try and get a permanent deal sorted for an agreement in place for Koulibaly to join Manchester City. They're struggling with the fee. We already know this. There's nothing new. That isn't anything new. However, overnight, Tuttosport Italy have been reporting some figures which I found really interesting, and this is new. They've been saying that Manchester City will not go beyond 55 million euros for Kalidou Koulibaly. We know ADL is looking for 70 million euros in cash, plus 5 million euros in add-ons is what he would be interested in accepting for Kalidou Koulibaly. So we're 20 million euros short, which is a big amount. That's why the deal has stalled. That's why it's on the verge of collapsing. And it is being reported now for the first time, albeit Tuttosport aren't the most reliable, but it is now being reported that Manchester City could walk away from the deal to sign Kalidou Koulibaly. We have spent over 2 months chasing his signature for us to make no progress in 2 months of a summer transfer window to try and replace a player who left last May. We had last summer to replace Vincent Kompany. It hasn't happened. We had the winter window to replace him. Again, we didn't do anything. We've come in this summer, top priority, top target. We targeted one player. We won't pay the price for him, and now 2 months later into that window we're set to miss out, and it's disgraceful. I think it's disgraceful. I'm really unhappy. I know that City will have contingencies already drawn up. These contingencies are going to be one of three things: either just as expensive as Kalidou Koulibaly, they're going to be more expensive than Kalidou Koulibaly, or they may be cheaper but not as good as Kalidou Koulibaly. So we're basically getting a backup player to a player that we wanted to sign. I do not understand if we want Diego Carlos. That's what I'm hearing. Diego Carlos is the player that City will go for because we don't have to negotiate release clause. 75 million euros. He's 2 years younger than Koulibaly, but in my opinion isn't as good or as experienced as Kalidou Koulibaly. comes across as Ottmendi-esque, a bit reckless if I'm honest, when I've watched him in the Europa League. It's hard to judge, but that's the impression that I've got. We're spending a lot of money, and quite frankly, I don't think it's good enough for the stature of the club, for how good we have been with some transfers. It simply is not good enough. And so we're facing missing out on targets because we're not even speaking with Napoli, we're just being stubborn. I can't even say that this is Napoli's fault. With Jorginho I could say that we've been strung along by Napoli. We haven't been strung along by Napoli. It's been more Man City have been stubborn to negotiate with Napoli because they don't want a repeat of the Jorginho saga. But there's no other interest in Koulibaly. PSG are umming and ahhing about making a move. Man United are as well, but it's City that's got the concrete interest. And if we wanted Koulibaly, all we need to do is phone and email ADL, negotiate the transfer, keep speaking with him until we get an agreement in place. It's what Everton did with Alan. It can be done. We're simply not doing it. And instead, we're more than likely going to be spending more money on bringing in another player. People are going to be speaking Upamecano. Not sure how much he's going to cost. His release clause doesn't come active till next summer, as it's been previously reported yesterday. It's complicated to sign him, so I doubt the transfer would get done. We're talking Diego Carlos, same price as Kalidou Koulibaly, so we won't pay it for Koulibaly, but we will pay it for someone else. Blows my mind. Jimenez that we were speaking about yesterday, City were willing to pay up to 90+ million euros, so we have got the money there to spend. Obviously he's a little bit younger, but he's also more injury prone than what Kalidou Koulibaly is, and Atletico Madrid will not accept 90 million euros. It must be his release clause, which is an extra 30 million euros. On top of that, 120 million euros. How have we let it get into this situation? We've been too distracted this summer. We did some good bits of business with Ake and Torres. It was nice and quick, negotiated hard, and with the clubs to get deals put in place. With this Koulibaly one, we're doing everything through the agent. It's slowing everything down. It's stalled. It's on the verge of collapsing. City willing to walk away now. It's just a complete mess. So I'd like to know your thoughts of that in the comments below. So there we go. That's been the video. I'm sorry that it isn't the positive news that we're looking for. Maybe tomorrow we'll be able to bring more positive news. Koulibaly situation always changing. I'm sure there'll be more twists and turns along the way. So there we go, that's been the video. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, aiming for 500 likes. Any help towards that would be much appreciated. Don't forget also, leave your thoughts of these transfers in the comments below, as I'm always interested in what you do have to say. Subscribe if you're new around here, press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on. It is free. I am aiming for 13,000 subscribers, and again, any help towards that would be much appreciated. Social media links in the description below, sliding across at the bottom of the screen. If you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram, email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries, and I'll be back again tomorrow for another daily Manchester City transfer update. So I've been JSGC, thank you everyone for watching, I hope everyone is safe and well, peace, ciao for now.